So, good evening to you once again, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to this last session of discourses on Rumi. So far we have spoken about love, about perennial philosophy in Rumi, about فيه ما فيه, discourses of Rumi. And tonight our topic is a little bit more technical, and I'm trying to avoid all terminology, high terminology of science of letters, to communicate what I want to say about the art of Rumi rather than the tools of Rumi. We are going to serve a cup of beauty, intellectual beauty tonight, just as Shelley wrote hymn to intellectual beauty. This is Rumi's hymn to intellectual beauty. You know, in literary criticism, there are different schools. Some more common and fashionable of them are 5 approaches to literary criticism, which I want to choose one of these 5 and to linger a little bit on that. First is the moralistic approach. When they want to evaluate a work of literature or even art in general, sometimes they evaluate it according to morality, how far it is in harmony with the morality of the society, with the morality in general, how are the characters, the ideas. That is moralistic approach. The second is psychological approach, more common and more appreciated by scholars, because the moralistic approach is often attributed to people who have certain inclinations towards giving, interfering in everything with morality. And often they accuse or often they condemn certain books because of not being in harmony with morality, while it has nothing to do with art. Art is beyond morality and immorality. Morality is what the artist may use or may not use. But I'll tell you later that morality is an integrated part of all art, without any intention on the part of the artist. The artist who tries to raise the level of morality of people is no great artist. But the artist, when he is doing the job, if he does it well, he helps finally, because he creates beauty, and beauty is the guide, is the star, the fixed star that guides you to morality, to all dignity and nobility. The second, I said, is psychological approach. For example, when they analyze or discuss about Hamlet, they say, how is it that he hesitates, why he hesitates, whether something in Shakespeare has created this idea, what it has to do with Shakespeare, with the reign of truth, of course, in what they say. All different schools have a grain of truth, but they have something to say. But people who look from a higher horizon, they can see all of them, that the psychology is right. sociology has its own share, form has its own share, and tonight we are going to speak about Rumi as far as the form of his poetry is concerned. And some scholars believe that Rumi is a man of Sufism, a man of didactic poetry, a master of mystical, theological, theosophical ideas, but he is not a master of art. When he comes to word composition, he is careless, and he has not created such great pieces of art like Hafiz or Saadi, who is the paragon of perfection in eloquence and beauty. I want to say it is not true. Rumi is a great artist, and he is very careful, although he often emphasizes that these forms I put away, I relieve myself from all these forms, and this mufta'ilun, this is the rhythm. See, kosht mara is killing me. I want to put them all aside, the rhyme and the rhythm and the words, everything, and I want to speak with my beloved without words, without sounds, and outside of all these involvements. But at the same time, when he is calling to his beloved, to his Lord, he says, Khosh nishin, ey qafiya andishe man. I don't think about the rhyme, but you think about it. If you are drowned in the meaning, drowned in love, drowned in beauty, then whatever you say is musical, is harmonious, automatically, spontaneously. Rumi is not very careful to put this word or not that word, but the music comes with the idea. When the idea is bringing Rumi to dance, he is dancing and speaking and spontaneously composing poetry. Some people even believe that first comes the rhythm and then the ideas. He fills the rhythm with ideas. You see, sometimes if somebody is playing some rhythm, is beating, you may enter the circle and start dancing. Your dance fills in the rhythm, because the rhythm is ready, then you fill it with some melody, you fill it with some ideas, you fill it with some meaning. See, but this is just like a container, empty, and it is ready for someone to put the water of meaning or the wine of meaning or the wine of beauty into it. So, at first I have to give an introduction to the idea of form. Form is one of the most common concepts in literature. It is so vast, actually hundreds and hundreds of books have to be written about form before you can understand something seriously about that and to come to know what is what. And it is very difficult to put people into picture when it comes to form, because so many different, sometimes contradictory meanings. Sometimes form is depreciated, sometimes is appreciated. Form may be God. According to Aristotelian philosophy, form is the unity in everything. Everything which has a form, the form of it is different from the matter of it. For example, a pitcher, a goblet, a cup. A cup is a form. The matter is not important. And the form is what gives unity and personality to a composition of material things. When you speak of form, you speak of eternal realities, you speak finally of God, because God is the absolute form. everything has some potentialities and some actualities. The actuality is the form. The potentiality is the matter. So the more you have actuality, you are farther from matter. Until you come to God. God is full actuality and nothing in him to come from potentiality to actuality. He is full, perfect, and he is waiting nothing. This is one view. From another point of view, form, you say, what is this form? You have to go to meaning. Rumi says, یار معناشو که صورت رهزن است. Be a friend with the meaning, because these forms are robbers, are thieves. These forms take you astray, misguide you, because forms may look the same, but the meaning far, far different. And one of the greatest deceptions in the world, Rumi says, one of the greatest deceptions done by all imposters and charlatans and people who deceive and try to rob people of their wealth. They all are disguiding people or misguiding people, misleading people by form. So let us read one story, the story of a parrot, and then we'll go back to other meanings of form. There was a grocer who had a parrot, a sweet-voiced, green, talking parrot. Perched on the bench, it would watch over the shop in its master's absence and talk to the customers. Once as it sprang from the bench. Of course, he has a little bit abridged it, the translator, but there are some other lines that once it happened that the grocer had gone home, and when he came back, a cat sprang from the bench and flew away. It has spilled some bottles of rose oil. Its master came from his house and merchant-wise seated himself at ease on the bench. Finding the bench wet with oil and his clothes greasy, he smote the parrot on the head, and it was made bald by the blow. For some few days it refrained from speech. The grocer, repenting, heaved deep sighs and tore his beard, saying, "Alas, the sun of my prosperity is gone under the cloud. Would that my hand had been broken when I struck such a blow on the head of the sweet-tongued one." He was giving presents to every dervish that he might get back to the speech of his bird, After 3 days and nights, he was seated on the bench, distraught and sorrowful like a man in despair, showing the bird every sort of marvels in the hope that maybe it would begin to speak. When a bare-headed dervish passed by, a bare-headed dervish like me, with bald head, passed by, clad in jawla, clad in rags, in Sufi dress, his head hairless at the outside of a bowl. Thereupon the parrot began to talk. Suddenly the parrot started talking. "Oh, how did you become bald? Is it true that you have also spilled oil, the oil on the table?" Thereupon the parrot began to talk, screeched at the dervish and said, "Hey, fellow, how were you mixed up with the bald pate? Did you then spill oil from the bottle? The bystanders laughed at the parrot's inference because it deemed the wearer of the frock to be like itself. You see, so Rumi goes on to say that thousands and thousands and thousands of people are misguided and misled by these similarity of forms, because people in religion say, he is a religious man. What is the meaning of he is a religious man? There are certain forms, and the forms can be assumed by anybody. Everybody can follow certain forms. So he deceives you that I am a man of God, while a man of God has no form, no particular dress. Some people have certain dress, white, a little bit larger than usual, put a long hat on their head. These are forms, and these forms impress people, and they show that what they actually are not. And Rumi says, after these poems I have not brought here, that a monkey, when he sees that somebody is praying, stands beside him and does like that. And he thinks that I am doing like him. Why thousands of miles is different from what the monkey is doing and what the man of God is doing. Now, I want to read a sonnet by Rumi to show you how the same meaning may have different, the opposite of the story of parrot. In parrot, the form was the same. The form was the same. The meanings are different. Sometimes there are many forms, very similar, but with different meanings. But the opposite is that there are different forms, but they all have one meaning. So that is the idea of diversity. You have to be able to accept diversity, go deep into the meaning, and then see that this form and that form and that form, although they seem different, but they are the same. So Rumi is calling his friends, morn arising friends, early risers. Who is there that discovers the dawn, who discovers us dancing in confusion like atoms? Who has the luck to come to the brink of a river, to drink water from the river, and to discover the reflection of the moon? Somebody goes to the river, he wants to take some water, but suddenly he sees the moon in the water. The moon is a symbol of the Lord, of God, and he gets the idea, oh, there's a moon. You see, so who is so lucky as to, when he is going to do something very ordinary, he suddenly happens to see what he has to search for, the moon. Who is there like a jackal, Ya'qub, from the shirt of Joseph, seeks the scent of his son? He asked to bring him the shirt of his son so that he would smell. He smelled, and then his eyes was returned, his sight was returned. You see, it often happens that you go for some ordinary, to do some very ordinary thing, and then something great happens to you. This is a great luck. Or a thirst like the Bedouin cast a bucket into the well, and in the bucket discovered the beauty like an ass load of sugar. You know, you remember the story of Joseph in the Quran, that when the brothers throw him in the well, some Bedouins in a caravan, they are passing by, so they sent down and